Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. I'm Brother Mandene Muhammad, welcoming you to Mohammedan Friends. I'm honored to be filling in for our brother Jamil Muhammad. We are going to have a wonderful edition of Mohammedan Friends this afternoon or this evening, depending on when you're watching us. For those that are social media inclined, make sure that you follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and make sure that you like and share the show as well. And it's an interactive show. The number is 773-434-6625. Again, that's 773-434-6625. Definitely, again, if you're on Facebook, like and share the program. Those of you may be on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so whenever we are live, you'll get notified. And you can also share that show as well. And also, since we're talking about social media, be sure to check us out on Crow TV and Crow on the archives page on Facebook, on Instagram, and also Twitter. And of course, since we plug in everything, if it's Tuesday night, we're elevating the conversation with Elevated Talk. Be sure you check us out every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. on Elevated Talk with your host, yours truly, Brother Mandene T. Muhammad. So again, the number here to call in to speak to us right now is 773-434-6625. And I'm so honored to have our guest right now, who's been on the show. It's been a while though, but I'm certainly looking forward to talking to you, Miss Diane Latiker, the founder of Kids Off the Block.
Yes, sir.
Been around for a long period of time. You, it's been a minute since you've been on. I know my dear sister Commissioner Sims that brought you on the first time, but that doesn't mean you were sitting around, sitting on your hands waiting on us to call you back. You've been working, and you've been working diligently. So, you know, welcome back to Mohammedan Friends. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. So many, wow, I'm looking around the room and so much history here.
Yes, ma'am.
And I love it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, no, we've been working on it, so I'm finally glad that we finally got you here, my dear sister. You're definitely worthy of that. So, and this is, you're going down in that history. You know, this is what we do as the archives and also with these television shows is continue to chronicle that history. And so you've been a part of it. You'll continue to be a part of it. So thank you again. So here we are.
Here we are.
Founder, Kids Off the Blocks. But, you know, Miss Diane Latiker, you know, I know you get, you know, your awards and is sheets by itself, you know. So, but for those that may not know, who is Diane Latiker?
Diane Latiker is a 65-year-old grandmother, great-grandmother, a mother of 8, a wife of 36 years, and someone who wants to help the young people in her community.
Yes, ma'am. Just recently celebrated a birthday and
anniversary.
Wedding anniversary.
Yes,
ma'am.
So I'm very excited about where life has taken me, and I'm very grateful that I'm able to help.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm glad that I even want to help.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you have to have that mind in these days and times to even want to help people.
Yes, ma'am.
They make it so hard for you.
Absolutely. Long time Roseland a resident.
36 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And you know, it's the love of Roseland kind of, you know, pushed you into what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, so Kids Off the Block. But what is Kids Off the Block and how did it start?
Kids Off the Block is officially, it's a community-based youth development organization.
Okay.
Our focus is youth anti-violence, intervention and prevention. Unofficially, it's a house that invites young people into it, our home, to help any way we can. We just want them to have a safe place. We want them to succeed and thrive, just like other youth in neighborhoods. And my husband and I decided that we were going to do that 19 years ago. And when I tell you it's the most amazing and rewarding thing I've ever done in my life, I mean it.
Yes, ma'am.
I quit my job, which my husband wasn't too happy. But I just wanted to help.
Yes,
and I found my passion at 46 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
And Kids Off the Block started because my husband and I have 8 kids. We have 4 girls and 4 boys. But the only one was at home was our youngest, 13. I wanted to make sure she graduated high school and went to college so I could be free.
Yes, ma'am.
And do my other passion, which is fishing.
Yeah, okay.
And so I thought that's what it was going to be. I was going to be a grandma, stay at home, you know, retired, and all my kids are grown and gone, you know. And it didn't happen like that. My mom, who's a minister, she saw that the kids in the community liked me. They would come to be with my daughter.
Yes,
And she said, you should do something with them, Diane. They like and respect you. And I'm going in my head, no, I don't want to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to retire. You know, I want to be free.
Yes, ma'am.
And it didn't happen that way, though. I prayed for 3 days. And on July 15th, something said invited me into my living room. And I did. My daughter and her friends, it was 9 of them, 13 to 15 years old, boys and girls. And I thought I knew these kids because they grew up with my daughter. When they got through talking to me, man, I found out the boys were being recruited by gangs. They were all failing in school. And not that I could do anything about it. You know, these were other people's kids. But I just said, I'm going to try to do what I can. And so I sold the family TV and bought some used computers and printers and started with helping them with homework.
Wow.
Next thing I know, I got kids coming from all over my community knocking on the door. They asking for help to get out of gangs, go back to school, homeless kids. I had no idea that was going on in my community.
Wow.
Yeah. So it turned into 75 in a matter of almost 3 months.
75 young
Day
people.
and night in our apartment.
So, and that's where you're based at now is the
Yes.
okay, wow. And that's powerful right there.
Yeah, it was pretty powerful because our house started getting, you know, the whole house was being threatened. My mom lived next door, and her house was being threatened by gang leaders because we were trying to help kids get out of gangs. I had to have 2 arrested in front of my house. My van was shot up. The Latin Kings surrounded my house. It was crazy.
So they really tried to put fear in you.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it was working. I mean, my family was there too,
Yes,
so my grandkids were coming over. You know, and you got people threatening you, and so but I made a decision that I was going to be scared. I wasn't going to be scared sitting in my house with my door closed.
Yes, ma'am.
I was going to be scared out on the street.
Yes, ma'am.
And so that's what I did.
Yeah, I was going to say 19 years. Obviously, you know.
Yeah.
But there's a saying, you know, do it, even if you do it, you know, scared.
That's
You know,
right.
with fear.
That's
But,
right.
No, but I guess as time progressed, not only the fear subsided, but you are careful now and cautious. But obviously there were people who looked out for you as well.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
oh, yeah.
ma'am.
Well, young people, you know, the young people always say, real recognize real.
Yes, ma'am.
It's true.
Yes, ma'am.
And so when they realized that we were just there to help, not to inflict anything on anybody, not to, you know, help one gang over another gang, but to help them all, then the word spread
Yes, ma'am.
amongst the young people. And they did. And they still do. They help us. Yeah.
So what would you say the goal of Kids Off the Block is?
I have to say there are many because each young person is so different. And each time that you meet a new one, you find out there's something else because the times change.
Yes, ma'am.
Everything happens in their lives and it changes by generation. It's just like one of the first 10 that I told you about, his son is now in my program
Wow.
and he's 14 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
So it changes, you know. So I have many goals. It's one thing, our main goal though, is to make sure young people have a safe space. They should be able to walk to school in peace.
Yes,
They should be able to walk home in peace. They should be able to see each other and recognize that they are brothers. And maybe not physically and biologically, but they are. They live in the same community.
Yes, ma'am.
They're trying to do the same thing.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's thrive and be successful. So I'm trying to take that out of that negativity, out of young people. Like I said, I have many goals though, because once you hear their stories, it's so much.
Yeah, you know, and I was wondering, because many of them, I'm sure they have either 1 or 2 parents, but there's somebody that's an authority figure in their household. How have they been? How did they receive you?
Well, at first it wasn't good.
Okay.
I had
Felt that they
some
were trying.
parents calling the police on me because it was kids in the house day and night. They were out on the street coming in. You know, I get up in the morning, they be sitting on my porch, and so that didn't look good. And then too, I had parents who the kids would go home. Like I'd say, you shouldn't have that. You know, like if they have a knife or something to go to school with, I say don't have that. They go home and tell their parents, and then their parents would get mad at me and take the kid out. You know.
So wait, so did the parent know that they had a weapon on them?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Some of the parents even knew kids had guns on them. I had one young man came to my house. His sister had been jumped on. And I knew this young man before he got to me because everybody was scared of him, named Gerald. and he's carried 2 guns in his trunk of his car.
Okay.
But anyway, he came to, I don't know what made him come to see me this day. He knocked on my door and he said, I'm going to hurt this young man. He just jumped on my, he called him another word, but he jumped on my sister.
Yes,
and he said, can I just talk to you for a minute? And we sat down for 2 hours. And the bottom line was, I said, what got to him was, I said, you're a leader, but you're a negative leader. I said, imagine if you were a positive leader. And he didn't go kill him. But what resonated with me, Essence Magazine came to do an interview with me the next 2 days or so, and he said, can you, get somebody to do the interview that's about guns? Gerald.
Yeah.
So I sent them over there to Gerald. Come to find out, Gerald had 2 guns in my house, sitting there talking to me. He was serious about going to kill this young man.
Yes,
so to me, it was just about opening my door.
Yes, ma'am.
It wasn't nothing I did so amazing. It was just that I opened the door at the right time, and a life was saved.
And I'm listening to you, and and you're a blessing. And I'm thinking how you were doing this prior to no funding, no establishing anything. No. And I think about all of these people now. They used to call them poverty pimps and all this type of stuff. They go out there and hustle our people under the umbrella of violence, interruption, and whatnot. And you've been doing this organically from the heart, from the very beginning. But later on, people obviously recognized, what you were doing and started helping out. Yeah. And it wasn't always a smooth journey as well.
Oh, no.
So a lot of times, people want to just use you as a prop. I remember a former
and they
mayor
still
did.
Do.
Yeah, I remember a former mayor did that. Yeah, we'll touch on that later. But I just want to acknowledge, what you're doing from the heart, as opposed to other people out there that's just, they do it, they're doing it, but they out there,
I've been in those rooms.
Yeah, so
I don't go in them anymore.
But you already know.
Because we got young people literally dying.
Yeah.
And you're sitting in a room trying to figure out how to get $1, really?
Yeah.
Or you're trying to stifle me because I'm interfering with you getting $1.
Right.
What do we get? How do we get to that as black people?
Yeah. And we were talking off camera about the Million Man March. Yeah. And I was just saying how it was done organically before social media.
Right.
So it is with you.
Yeah.
What you were doing, you don't have a camera up filming everything that you're doing.
No.
Right. And you're not doing it now.
Oh, no. People ask me that. Why you didn't call the media? I call them out for what?
Yeah.
What am I calling them for?
Yeah.
It's not about them.
Yes, ma'am.
Now they do come out. I don't know, they just call me and come out.
Yes, ma'am. But
I don't call them because I don't like the way they portray our young people anyway. I just don't.
Yeah.
I was invited to Dubai by His Excellency.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought it was a scam, so I threw it away a couple times.
Yes,
till my daughter told me it was real.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I went, and I'm sitting up there. It was 20 Nobel Peace Prize winners and 80 world thinkers. And I'm going, what am I doing here? I really didn't know. Finally, I asked his assistant, and he said he saw you on CNN, and he wanted to know about the violence in your community. That didn't make me feel good.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody was like, you should have felt, no. I didn't want to travel across the world because somebody wanted to know about the violence in my community. What about all the good things that were happening in my community? I was really perturbed by that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were a good one, because a lot of people would have took that free trip and just took
No, I
advantage
took
of
it. I was there.
Okay.
I asked his assistant
okay,
when I got there.
Yes, ma'am.
I did. I met all those wonderful people.
I misunderstood you.
And he was wonderful.
Yes,
it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful. But I still, in my heart, I felt funny for being there. These people were there because they did great things.
Yeah.
I was there because of the violence in my community.
Well, let me say, even with the social media, because nowadays because sometimes there may be people who don't know. Again, with us establishing that you're doing this from the heart, it has to be
I have to share.
Yeah, it has to be amplified.
Yeah.
So people do have to know about it.
Right.
So you're not just out there just waiting for the camera or looking for the camera, to get you. Like you said, they come find you. Just like the person in Dubai, they came, looking for you. So, but we take that and we parlay into something that will help benefit you and what you're doing, in the community for those, those young people that you're helping out so much. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, so, yeah, I do understand there has to be a proper balance, though.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. I am grateful that they even allow me into their lives. I want to do more. I always want to do more. Right now, I don't know if you know, but we got a building donated right next to my house.
I didn't know.
I was a woman of worth for L'Oreal in 2016.
Yes, ma'am.
And when I was speaking in New York, some of these supermodels were there, and they came back home and they did a fundraiser. And to get the kids out of my house, they raised the money to buy the building next door.
Nice.
So the roof fell in the time we got it. So we raised enough money to fix the roof, and then the pandemic hit. So we couldn't get it rehabbed. So now we've actually submitted a proposal to the city.
Yes, ma'am.
In partnership with Levine Engineering to get it rehabbed. And it's going to be a technology entrepreneurship arts center. And the reason I want to do that is because the young people we serve have no skills.
Yeah.
They give them summer jobs and then send them home.
Yeah.
Nothing, a career for, they could go across the world and make good money. I found out when young people have something more that they love and they're getting paid for it, that combats violence across the board. I'm serious.
It does.
It does.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So have you been able to reach, what about the politicians in your, I know that's,
Don't
take
get
a
me
deep
started.
breath, take a deep breath. I know, but
Yeah.
you have an alderman, you got a state rep,
Oh,
you
I've
got
been,
the mayor.
believe me, I've been, every one of them know. My alderman actually threw me out of his office one time because I stalked him. You know, he can help me.
I think we already know that alderman.
You know, he's really been trying to help. So I'm
So you
grateful.
must be in the 9th Ward.
I am.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
am. And I've been to the White House 3 times. I've been to Springfield. I can't even count. I've been in elevators trying to rush legislators. You name it. I've been there.
Even that 30-second pitch, huh?
Oh, I've been there. Sometimes it does look good, sometimes not. But it all depends on how they look at the people that I serve. And that matters. I'm talking seriously, in political world, that matters. And I don't know why.
Because what you're saying is they have to have a certain look in order to be helped.
Yeah. You know that memorial, you know about the memorial
Yes,
we
ma'am.
have, right?
Yes, ma'am. You can talk about that.
That memorial, if those names and the young people were a different race, you and I both know.
Yeah. Then you have to be a different race. If it was 3 dogs that got killed over there, you know, we had, I talked to Dr. Kisha Roberts-Tabb, who deals with missing and exploited youth, particularly young women, and she had said something, if it was, you know, a bunch of dogs that turned up missing one day, it would be all over the news. Yeah. So just like what you're saying is, if those names, and it's too many.
It's too many.
Yeah.
We actually we're getting ready to rebuild it again. This will be the 16th time, because when I started it with Blair Holt. Remember Blair Holt?
Yes, ma'am. The young student
in May of
Virginia.
2007. It was just 30 stones, just 30. He was number 1, and now there's over almost 800. We're over 600 behind because we can't keep up. We just can't keep up.
600 behind.
So we had to take the stones out the other day so we can rebuild it and put plates so we can keep up, because the parents don't want us to get rid of the stones because they say they're tangible.
Yeah.
But the stones take up so much room till we have to keep rebuilding,
Yes, ma'am.
you know, to keep up, you know. But we don't want them to be forgotten.
Yes, ma'am. You know, that's, I have to ask you this now. I mean, mental health is it's a major issue. Now, it always has been, but it's really in the forefront now. I want to talk about the mental health aspect of the young people, but we got to start with you, though. I mean, how is this, who heals the healer? What's your outlet? Who do you talk to? How do you deal with your mental health? Because you are a mother, a grandmother, but these are your babies also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so how do you deal with
faith
that?
is everything. Diane Latiker has selfish reasons,
Yes.
you know.
Yes, ma'am.
I do. I'm human. You know, I would love to just go fishing. That's all, really, that's all I would love to do. You can catch me on a fishing bank 24 hours a day.
Yes, ma'am.
But there's something besides Diane Latiker that gave me the love for young people. And I know that's a higher power than me. And to me, that means everything.
Yes, ma'am.
My faith is everything. I couldn't do this work. My husband, he was shouting at me last night because I was up late last night. I'm up every night and up early in the morning because a young person has been killed. They're calling me on the phone. Somebody's been shot. Somebody's been evicted, their whole family. And now they have to move to another area, and the kids are in another gang.
Yeah.
They're going to have to go to another school, and the kids are in another gang. These things people don't talk about.
Yes, ma'am.
Just like what happened with Finger, with Darian Albert.
That's right. I remember.
They don't talk about this stuff. But this is detrimental to families. And so I stay up and I pray and I try to figure out how can I help these young people.
Yes, ma'am.
And their families. Because you can't help them without helping their families.
Yeah.
But me healing, I don't know if I have. And I don't know if I ever will. I had to stop going to funerals, to the young people's funeral, because it was doing something to my soul.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to help the family in the aftermath. I couldn't go to any more funerals.
We're talking with our dear sister, Diane Latiker, founder of Kids Off the Block. If you have a question or comment for the number is 773-434-6625, 773-434-6625. But as far as the young people and their mental state, you know, I mean, do you have like counselors there or, or outlet to send them to?
We do.
Yes,
we
ma'am.
do. We partner with so many other organizations. I've learned that that's the best thing to do because we're not a one-stop shop. There has to be a safety net.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, if we don't have it, so another organization does. And mental health, mental health is taboo, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Especially with us.
Right, and our young people grow up with hearing that at the dinner table or in their kitchens, boy, you crazy. They calling you crazy. And then somehow that was an insult to the young people. So when you tell them about mental health, Ms. Diane, I'm not crazy, So they equate that with that. So they don't want no part of it.
Yes, ma'am.
So how we break that down is something different, though. I feel for them, though, because I don't want them to be labeled either.
Right.
I don't want them labeling all our young people as crazy. They won't help them. So I don't know how we reshape that, so they will accept it, but also so they won't be labeled.
Yeah, but so they do come to you,
Oh, yeah.
I know that you said they don't want to be labeled as that, but they do come seeking help as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's progress within itself. 'Cause like you said, that stigma has been in the black community of us wanting
and
don't
we
even
did
talk
it.
about it. Yeah,
We did it.
yeah,
We did it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if they have the wherewithal that they know that they want help, that's a beautiful thing.
That's huge.
Yeah,
That's huge. But that means that they actually, whatever it is that would make them think negatively or about violence or anything, that means they want help before they actually do it. And to me, that's big.
yeah, yeah. I know it was a couple other things. I just want to go back as far as, because at first you did mention that the parents, they were a little, concerned and whatnot. I know a lot of times with our organization, we will have a lot of young people that will come here, but the parents tend to drop them off, as if it's a place that they can, like we're babysitters.
Yeah, I know.
We're babysitters.
Believe me, I know.
And once they get back home, they're not, sustaining what was taught to the child. Are the parents involved now?
Oh, yes.
More involved?
I have a lot of parents involved. Now, it used to didn't be that way. But yes, a lot of parents are involved.
They try to treat you as a babysitter also.
Not only that, they would talk against it because the young people were calling me when they were getting locked up and stuff before they call their parents. So I'd be at the jail already, or I'd be at the scene of something happening before the parent gets there. And that wasn't taken well.
Yeah.
So, and I had to stress, I'm a support system for the parents.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not the parent.
Yes, ma'am.
But that has all changed. They are definitely in our corner. They're there. All we have to do is make a call or to ask them to come out, and they do.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And that's the father and the mother.
I know we mentioned it earlier, but I want us to be able to talk about it because you talk about the building, and but you shouldn't have to come out your own pocket for the work that you do. How can people support you in your efforts?
They can go to the website kidsofftheblock.us. They can send checks
Yeah, yes,
to
Don't be shy.
11623 South Michigan.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're on social media, all across social media, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, just look. Actually, all you have to do is just look us up.
Yes, ma'am.
You can find us.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's enough contractors and builders in that Roseland area and outside that could come and knock this on out.
I know.
You know, I watched some Hispanics across the alley from where we at right now. They put a gate up over there in a day and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and they've already repainted the place and everything else. Now, we don't have to go outside our own community, you know, to do it, but we know it can be done. And it don't have to. My point is, it don't have to take a year and a half to do it. They can get this done in a couple of weeks.
Well, I'm prayerful. I just believe, and until that happens, our house will be open. That's just how I look at it.
Well, you know, the Bible says, "Work as well as pray." So
that's right.
We gonna stay prayerful.
Faith
but
without action is dead.
It's dead.
Believe me, I'm the one that says that daily.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and you mentioned so do you have young people dealing with the social media themselves? That's a part of your organization?
Oh, yeah. They're geniuses.
Yeah.
They were born into it. Why would I go and get somebody else when these young people, the minute they could talk, they had a phone in their hand?
Yeah.
Social media.
Yes,
that's how they thrive.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, so definitely they help us out. Actually, I don't know if you saw it, but we just came back yesterday from Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay.
We went to Drake University.
Okay.
We took 16 young people there. I had to speak for HOBY, which is Hugh O'Brien's Youth Leadership Foundation.
Okay.
Last Saturday, we took them to Magnolia, Arkansas, to Southern Arkansas University. I had to speak there. So what I'm saying that for is we had young people, 3 or 4 of them, they were doing the media, they were taking all the pictures, the video, they were all into this stuff.
And not only that, but you're getting them out off the block.
Isn't that the intent though?
Yes, ma'am.
We've been to this, yesterday will be our 28th city that we've taken young people to.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, since we started, we've been to all those cities. We want to literally get them off the block. Their world is not that 4-block radius.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm sure you know this more than I do. We have young people that have come through our program who first started off selling drugs to buy a car. 16, 17, that's the goal, to buy a car.
Yep.
But guess what? They can only go 4 blocks
That's right.
in that car.
And you'll see a rat around all
you
afternoon.
sit on the porch, hey!
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I bear you witness.
So they think that that's their world.
Yeah.
But it's not. You got to show them that there's a world out there.
Yeah.
Some of those young people had never been downtown.
Yeah, yeah.
And now that they started going, oh well, that's another subject.
Yeah, yeah. I recall I was what's called, well, we weren't latchkey children until later on, but me and my cousin, we used to look forward to coming home just hoping nobody would be there so we can hit the streets.
So you can hit the streets.
And that's what we do. But it was obviously much safer back then.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But we, downtown was our second home. We just, because we didn't have nothing where we were at. So.
Well, that's what I mentioned that to the mayor's staff. When they came up with Millennium Park, the young man that was killed, and I said, well, what do you expect them to do?
Yeah.
Because when they walk the blocks in their own community, what's there for them?
Yeah.
What's being built and invested into for them?
Yes, ma'am.
Not that they should have to stay in their own community, but it should be available to them if they want it.
You're right. I mean, there's other communities, they have everything that they need.
I've been to them.
Yeah, everything that they need. The only reason they go downtown is just to sightsee. But they have everything they need.
There.
It's a community. You can walk to your grocery store, you can go to your doctor, everything is in a community.
And I call it a thriving community because it is.
Yeah.
From the children up until the seniors.
Yes,
it's thriving.
It's thriving. We got to call them. Hopefully it's somebody that wants to donate about $1 million to you. But you're on Muhammad and Friends with Miss Diane Latiker.
Hello, this is Shaheed calling. I
Yes,
hope
sir.
Mrs. Latiker, do you have a age limit with the children that you deal with?
Yeah.
And although, I got one more question too.
Yes, sir.
And also, is there any of these young people that's in your community that are really negative to what you be doing, and they trying to, maybe trying to get some of the children out of your organization that you have?
Well, the age group is 10 to 24 years old. And yes, I have had young people do that. Not in the last 4 or 5 years, though. I can say that amongst the how would I say that? Among the gangs, because there are like 7 or 8 in our community now, I can go to any one of them because we've gained that respect to let them know that they all can be helped or they all can be impacted. The door is open to all of them. We used to have young people, they were like, you don't want to go over there, she GD. They would just call me out. And so, but that's changed, thank God. I really am feeling really good about all of them know that the door is open to all of them.
Yeah. And that's a nice gap right there, 24, because today's 24-year-old is not like, even when I was coming up.
Oh, no.
So it's definitely a difference.
I only do that age because the government says youth are from 10 to 24 years old.
Okay.
So I keep it in that way, which I'm kind of glad because in our new program, we have them all the way up to 23.
Yes, ma'am.
And they've been excellent. They've been excellent. So I'm excited.
I want to remind the viewing audience that you can talk to our sister 773-434-6625. Again, that's 773-434-6625. We talked about the brother Gerald and how he used to carry 2 guns, but obviously, gun violence is something major that's happening in our world right now, and we always hear about Inglewood and Roseland and the gun violence. And, we saw what happened in Buffalo and also down in Texas as well. Do the children that come to you, do they often talk about that? Or do they feel, we got enough violence in our own neighborhood that, how do we have time to focus on anything else?
So we partnered over the last 8 months with DePaul University's gun violence research team. They were coming to my home twice a month.
Yes, ma'am.
For 8 months. And I didn't agree. It took 2 months for me to agree to do this research. 'Cause I hate research. We're the most researched people I've ever seen.
Yeah, and they get paid off the research they do about us.
Thank you. But the reason I agreed is because I asked them one question: if I agree to this research, will you let young people's voices be heard? They're the perpetrators and the victims. Their voices should be in this research. They should be the main focus of this. So they agreed.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's how come they were allowed to come. 3 weeks ago, we did a community forum, where we invited stakeholders to come out and hear the results of that research. And even it surprised me what the young people were saying about gun violence. It's like it was a part of their lives. There was no, okay, this is gun violence, this is my life, this is my no, it was all intertwined. Because that's what they're born into it.
Yes, ma'am.
They're born into wearing the T-shirts. They're born into rest in peace, R.I.P. They're born into all of that. Yeah. So when they hear of violence, most of the times they know, if it's in their community, they know that person or the perpetrator. And so it's like, okay, they don't think anything can be done about it, even from them.
Yeah.
Because adults have said to them, this was in the research, adults have said, okay, yeah, that's a priority over here, but it's not over here. They see it too on social media.
Yes, ma'am.
If a kid of another race is killed, there's a lot of media attention, there's money thrown at it. Over here, barely mentioned. Barely, and they see it. We should never underestimate our young people. They see everything we see.
And I think that's where we come up short as adults.
It is.
We don't listen to them.
We
talk
don't.
at them instead of talking to them. Yeah.
Because we see them as, okay, so there's this, what they perpetrate, our young people, they do. And even we start to believe it. Yeah. That they're not worthy of their speech or what they're saying means anything.
Yes, ma'am.
And I hate that.
Yeah.
I do. So to me, they're intertwined with it. There's no way out of it to them. And the only way we're going to get them to see differently is when we show them different.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We got another phone call.
Oh.
You're on with our dear sister, Diane Latiker. Welcome to Mom and the Friends.
Yes, my name is Siobhan Carter. I'm calling to say I appreciate you so much for saving our children out here. I have a program called Take Your Life Back Today, where I expunge and seal criminal records. I would like to come and talk to you further about that, hopefully, if Lord willing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to speak to you about that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please, thank you, because that's where my heart is as well. I call this my ministry.
Yeah.
I believe in our children, and I would like to help them in any way I can.
So how
I
you
know,
got your
I
have
can,
her.
I can
Okay.
vouch for her. She means it.
And you have her information.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'll link you up.
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Thank you, Siobhan. Was there another caller? Yep, caller, you on the air?
Assalamu alaikum,
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
and good afternoon to your distinguished guest.
Good afternoon.
Sister, I appreciate the work you do.
Thank you.
I think we heard of some brothers here in Inglewood do similar work. And I guess we can use all the help we can to get a handle on this issue with our young people. I would like to extend my condolences to my wife's side of the family, the Dorsey family, for the loss of their great young brother out in Gary last night due to gun violence. My question, though, is, Sister, we're seeing this thing about people just filming this and videoing these things and then placing them on Facebook even before the family can know or get learned about this is their loved one that's laid out like this. And the tragedy of it all is that I'm seeing it far too often. What do you think about this thing that people have with just videotaping everything and putting it on Facebook and without even the family knowing that it's their loved one until later? I'm going to hang up and listen. And once again, I appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hate it. But even though I hate it, and that's because I know because I'm older, I don't agree with it. Let me say that.
Yes.
But you got to remember, it was just what we were just saying. The young people, they're born into this.
Yeah.
This is how they think it's okay to share this thing. You know, somebody started it, and they continue it, and to them, it's just part of their culture.
Yes, ma'am.
It's just like, I'm sure you're familiar when they say I smoked on so and so,
Yeah.
which is so disrespectful.
Yes, ma'am.
But what do? They do it anyway because it's a way of not only being mean but like
Insulting.
antagonizing.
Yeah, antagonizing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the word. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's horrible. For those that may not be familiar with what Sister is talking about, when if a young person is killed and then the ops, as they call them, they're act as if they're smoking on their remains as show a
Right.
sign of disrespect, or they'll go so far as to urinating on their grave. They've done that and videotaping it.
Right.
As crazy as it sounds, it happens.
It happens.
And that is like the ultimate disrespect. And it is disrespect.
It is disrespectful.
But, it just shows the mindset of our young people. But we have to go after them. But in defense of our young people, it's not just the young people. It's a lot of people in general when it comes to being that, that first to do something. You want to post this first.
Right.
Get that information out there first before someone, without clarifying or without taking into consideration that, that loved one may or may not know.
That's right.
Yes, ma'am.
That's
yes, ma'am.
right.
We're getting a lot of callers in. We got another caller. So welcome to Muhammad and Friends. Caller, you on the air.
Hello?
Yes. You on the air?
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa
Brother
alaikum salam.
Greg.
Yes, sir, brother.
Just calling in to check in. Watching the show, brother. Another one of these very interesting shows that the Grow Production always seems to put out. But the thing that I wanted to call in and talk about, brother, is the way that the young people today are almost in a celebratory mood when they have these funerals now. They have the balloons and everybody get the T-shirts made up. It's almost like it's a celebration of young life being taken at 15 or 16 years old. And it's like they don't have any kind of feeling or they don't recognize that this is a young life at 15 or 16 years old that's taken away, never to be seen again. And that's a grave and solemn thing that a young person is killed at that age. And it seems like it's just an everyday thing,
Yes.
So I just wanted to see what her views on that, because we have to impose on our children that this is not a normal thing. This is a grave and just a bad thing to be going on. And I just would like to hear her views on it, brother.
Thank you for calling in, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Wow, that's really awesome what he's asking. But I have two things to say to it.
Yes, ma'am.
Number one is, how do you tell people how to grieve?
True.
Especially young minds.
Yes, ma'am.
And maybe that's the only way they can deal with it. Two, I'm going to have to come back to us. Because what do? We put on the top of our obituary celebration of life. And the young people see that.
Yeah, so you can't.
So how can we say, don't show it as a celebration, when adults, that's what we do.
Yes, ma'am.
But we can't tell them how to grieve, though.
True.
Because then we're really stamping out their feelings.
Yeah.
Because,
no, that's a good point.
You know,
that's an excellent point.
So I might not agree with everything that they do to grieve, but that's the way they grieve.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. On that note, let's take a break, gather ourselves, take a swig of water. You know,
I'm for that.
Yes, ma'am. So what we're going to do, my dear audience, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back on the other side and talk more with our dear sister, Miss Diane, as they affectionately call her in the neighborhood, founder of Kids Off the Block. So we'll be back with more Muhammad Friends.
It's against your own health. That how creates more diseases in your body than you have any dreams of. In fact, about it, stop eating the hog, eat right, eat the proper food, and you will find 75% of your sickness leaving you. Yes, just try it.
And we're back to Muhammad and Friends. I'm your host for this particular show, Brother Mandene Muhammad. And again, just to remind you, you can talk to our dear sister, Diane Latiker, Miss Diane, as we affectionately call her. The number is 773-434-6625. Again, that's 773-434-6625. And again, if you're viewing us on any of our social media outlets, please like and share the broadcast. Miss Diane, we were talking off air also with Sister Kim, and I want to mention about the video games, but she mentioned about the music as well. But there was something that you mentioned that I think that's even more genius, and that's with the as far as teaching your young people, you're starting something this
Yes.
coming week.
Tuesday, yeah.
You know, where the young people will actually learn how to but learn video production pretty
Yes.
much. Yes, ma'am. Let's go ahead and talk about that.
So the music they listen to, I cringe because I'm older. But that's their music.
I cringe. I grew up on it. Man.
So, but instead of just saying, taking that away from them, why can't they create their own?
Yeah.
So I searched for 2 years for this young man, C, to come in and direct this class, this 8-week class. Teach them to edit, produce, direct, write their own music videos. Learn how to do it themselves on a positive note.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I want to combat the negative music, the negative videos. I want them to show this other side of them to the world. That there's inside of them this thing where they do believe that they're kings and queens.
That's right.
That they do believe in peace, that they do believe in community. And that's what I'm after.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. Will they be dealing with, like, because we see we talked earlier about how the media, so-called mainstream media, portrays us in our different communities. Will they have an opportunity to learn that as well?
Oh, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I want them to do interviews. I just want them to learn the whole gamut.
Yeah.
Because what they don't get is this is another thing to what I want them to see. Behind the camera, they're always trying to get in front of the camera.
Right.
Behind the camera
That's where the
is
power
really where the power is.
and the money.
The money,
yeah.
the careers,
Yes, ma'am.
everything is behind the camera.
That's right.
But they're they're never privy to it.
Yeah. I got to give a shout out to my sister Lakeisha Gray Sewell, founder of
that's my girl.
Girls Like Me project,
Yes.
and I know she loves you.
I love her too.
But she that's what she does with the young women,
Yes.
to change that narrative,
That's
that
right.
view of young women via media, and so she's taking upon herself with her organization.
she's doing great work.
Yeah, and you're going to be honoring her and the
Oh,
other
yes.
fantastic women coming up soon, right?
On June 18th, we're going to be honoring the women of Washington Park.
Mm.
So far, we've honored the women of Roseland, the women of Inglewood,
Yes, ma'am.
the women of South Shore,
Nice.
and now we're doing Washington Park. And so we've got to honor each other. We've
ma'am.
got to.
Yes, ma'am.
We can't wait on anybody else.
No.
We've got to.
Yes,
and these
ma'am.
women are doing extraordinary work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about these video games.
Okay.
State Rep Marcus Evans did something. He was trying to get a bill to put a halt on like these video games. And let me set it up this way. I was listening to a show this morning, and we talked about social media, and they have what's called social media influencers, and
Right,
people
right,
get
right.
paid for this type of
Oh,
thing.
yeah, big bucks.
So yes, ma'am. And so we're all influenced by something. When we go in the grocery store, I mean, that's why they wouldn't have commercials. They wouldn't be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a 30-second spot during the Super Bowl.
Right.
If
It didn't work.
influence and if it didn't work. So for this brother talking about Marcus Evans to come up with this bill with these video games, and because a lot of people, he was saying these video games are influencing our young people as far as the carjackings and things of that sort.
Violence too.
Yes, and violence, and especially with the way they're emulating it. It looks just like those video games that they're
Right.
doing. I don't know. What are your thoughts about that? I mean, how do you deal with that? Do the young people? Because a lot of times you say they on their phones all the time. They're playing games on their phones. So
definitely
how do you deal with that also?
I definitely, like I said, I don't go to them and say, you're not going to do that. That's not the way you do stuff. Even when I see they pants sagging, it's not the way I do that. That's just not the way I do stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
I have to do it in a way where I let them know it ain't cool. You know, it's just not cool. And the video games, I'd be like, you know, I'd be cringing inside, but I'd be like, wow, so you just cool with killing people, you know, or something like that. I bring it to them like that.
Yeah.
And they look at me because they realize that I'm saying something that's what you're doing.
Right.
You know, even though it's just a game.
Right.
But that's what you're doing. That's what you're spending your time. Your mind is on this stuff. So when you hit the real street, that's what you want to do. You know, and it works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But I have to come to them in a way where I'm letting them know that it's not cool. I don't like the video games. And why is that the only thing that they're sending out to our young people? Like cigarettes. Is that the way you advertise to them? You're doing that to them to make sure they buy them. You know, and sometimes it's the parents buying them too, though.
Yeah.
And they're playing them.
Well, you like you said, you know, you got parents that's pretty much just as young as they as the
but nobody
children.
told them either.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened to us? Where did we break down at? You know, because I know in my generation, my mom and my aunties didn't play.
Right.
You know, I knew there were certain things I couldn't do, and I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because we mentioned the parents, and there are a lot of young parents
There are,
also.
yeah.
So is there counseling for them, or outlets for them that you have?
It is.
Yes, ma'am.
It is. Like I said, it's those connections, those partnerships, those collaborations. But getting them to it is a whole different ballgame.
Wow.
Because social media tells them it's not cool. You know that, right?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Social media is the influencer.
Yeah.
If a person they don't even know says, it's not cool to go see a mental health or psychologist or psychiatrist, it's not cool, they don't even know this person.
Yeah.
But, I saw it on the internet. I saw this person said that. They don't even know, this person has no degree, don't know what they're talking about, but they feel some kind of way, and it's followed.
Yeah. And that's the sad part. And that's why we have to change that narrative.
That's right.
Starting with your young people.
That's right.
But like Sister
right.
Lakeisha is doing, what we're doing here, we have to, get them involved and change that whole
And
mindset.
Brother
And
Mandene,
make
there's
it
so many
cool.
others too, though.
Yeah.
There's so many others out here that they never talk about that's holding these communities up. If those people left those communities, you talk about chaos.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, literally, it would be really chaos.
Yeah.
Those people are holding down those communities and those neighborhoods day after day.
Yeah. I was reflecting on a friend of mine I went to school with, Aisha Butler. You
Oh,
mentioned
that's
her.
another one of my
Yeah.
heroes.
And I remember when we reconnected, and because of the show, we reconnected. She came here with someone else.
Yeah.
And we were just looking at each other. We realized that we know each other.
Yeah.
But long story short, we talked like a few days later, and she said something to me. I remember to this day. She just looked at me. She said, "I could have moved a long time ago, but these children need me." And
That's
so
the way I feel.
that stuck with me. Even my dear sister Jimmy Lee Tillman, at the Harold Washington Culture
Yeah,
Center,
yeah.
and how all she talks about is these babies this, these babies that.
That's
Right
why I
now,
say so many.
right now she's in Ghana with
Really?
a group of young children.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
Just getting them out there because her daughter, Dorothy Genius, as they affectionately call her, a grad student, but she's only, I think she's about 16 years old.
Yeah.
But she has a STEM academy that with the young
Wow.
people, so they're in Ghana now.
That's
so,
beautiful.
But like you said, it's a lot of
It's a lot.
it's a lot of people that's doing something.
That's
but
holding them
it's
down.
up to us to make sure that we continue to highlight these
And support.
these groups and support
And support.
and support.
Yeah.
And speaking of support, we mentioned it earlier, but again, how can we support you and what you're doing also? And also, wait, let me say this: there's a lot of contractors out there, that's you ain't got much work. We see it. We see it. You come on, you call us crying because everybody is shutting you out. This sister needs some help. If you want publicity, you can leave your card on the property just like everybody else do. But give this sister some aid and assistance, that they used to say in the streets. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I had
Oh,
to
that's
put that
okay.
out there.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes, ma'am.
You can support by going to the website kidsofftheblock.us. We're on social media across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can just write a check to 11623 South Michigan,
Yes,
Chicago, Illinois 60628.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
And you are non-for-profit.
we are a nonprofit.
So they can write that
Registered
off.
nonprofit.
Yeah,
Yes.
so they can definitely write that off. So I mean, no, it's beautiful, my dear sister, and I really appreciate your time. We got about 3 minutes left, so like I said, it was going to go by fast.
Can I say one thing?
You can say as many things as you want.
I am just really amazed at the aura of your show,
Yes,
because I feel so at home. I feel like I'm talking to a friend.
you are talking to
I don't
us.
feel like the cameras are around. I felt like that we talked about what's needed to be talked about
Yes, ma'am.
regarding us
Yes, ma'am.
and our children.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what I want to talk about,
Yes, ma'am.
because they're worthy. They need us.
They do.
They need
do.
all of us.
And this was important to me when I saw you at the Legacy Gala, the workshops.
Yeah.
Shout out to our sister Kiana Barber.
Yes.
So when I saw you there, I heard your words, and Lakeisha was pretty
Yes,
much
she was right
moderating
there.
that.
Right.
But it reminded me you know, why you were on in the first place or why you were doing what you was doing. So you were the first person. You know how those things, when they over with, everybody wants to run up to you.
Yeah.
So I just waited patiently, and I just told you I wanted to make sure that you remember me, and whether you did or didn't, I wanted to extend that invitation, and
Well,
I
I
make sure I
appreciate
followed up. So yes, ma'am. So now,
And I'm sorry it took so long. It was just, we just so much be coming up every day.
Look, you know, you got a life to live also, so this is a chance for you to celebrate, you know, a few things in your life. So
Yes, sir.
no, that's quite all right. That's quite all right. And that last, you know, like minute and a half, again, you can, you know, mention the program, the gala that you have coming up also, and how they
Yes,
can
sir.
support anything else that you may want to. Any
No,
closing
what I
statements?
want to ask is, when are you all gonna come out there and meet those young people?
Your young people gonna come here also.
You can't get 50 of them in here.
That means
Now
we
you
coming
come
out to
out
see
there.
you there. We're gonna
Come
come
out.
out
You're
there and see
welcome
you.
to come out.
We'll be out
I
real
would
soon.
love
then.
for them to meet you. I
Yes,
really
ma'am.
would.
We're gonna make that happen. Then.
Yeah.
We definitely gonna make that happen.
And maybe you could say a few, you know, words to them, encouragement, you know.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
We're at your disposal. But this
Okay,
is
just let me know when you want to come out.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Absolutely.
That's what I want to say.
Yes, ma'am. And so, but you still have a few seconds left. So, you any closing thoughts?
Let's remember our children.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's remember our children, our teens, and our young adults. This summer,
Yes, ma'am.
I get so scared every summer.
Yes, ma'am.
I really do.
Yeah.
And I used to love summer, but now I get so scared.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, and I wrestle with that. I know they always say it's almost like they put that out there, like something definitely is going to happen during the summer or during the weekend or when it gets warmer. And you know, it's almost like they say it so much. I know it happens.
It does.
But we have to change that narrative also.
Well, first we have to change the people that the narrative is about.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, on that note, I don't think we could have ended it, you know, any better. You know, for those that are watching us, the Munir Muhammad Show airs every Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock. But our flagship show, which you're looking at right now, Muhammad and Friends, every Sunday night at 7:30 on Channel 19. And if you miss it then, you can also check it out at 2:30. And I was just informed that they're streaming live now. So you can watch on your, it's coming very soon. It's coming very soon, so probably by the time the show airs, so you'll be able to view it on your phone or on your personal device. So, but if you want to support us here at Crow, just as this sister here, just send a donation in, 2435 West 71st Street, 60629. So, on behalf of the Crow TV staff and crew, my name is Brother Mandene Muhammad. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And may Allah continue to bless you with the light of understanding as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.